We in this street. Yo, what's going on? Y'all know what it is. Hit your motherfucking boys over the head. Let them know, hey, the best boxing breakdown for Canelo versus Terence Crawford is about to jump off live. And as always, of course, you know we got the HNIC, my man Prodigy. What's going on, fam?
Hey, what's good? What's good?
Yep. And then we got some people in the building with us that's part of the 3KB family. We got the ugliest nigga that there is, Ugly Zoe. What's going on?
What's good, family, man? You know, just enjoying my birthday.
That's right, man. We got one of our own, another breakdown analyst, my man Corey, who's out there in Nevada. What's up, Corey?
What's up? How's it going?
And then, of course, we got the self-proclaimed California's nigga in the crew, J.L. Davis. What's going on, man?
What's up with you? Shaking and bacon.
All right.
Hey, wait a minute. I got to interject. So today's your birthday? I thought it was later.
Nah, mine's is September 11th.
Okay, so mine is tomorrow. So we got the 1st, the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, and then the 22nd.
Yeah,
Damn.
you're my sister. Yeah, you're my sister's shared birthday. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, pretty much all three kings is in September. Corey, I don't know where you at, bro, but
I'm in February, so I'm away.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, from what I heard through the grapevine, a lot of simp niggas' birthdays in February, man. I'm just saying.
They died on the vine, nigga.
Yeah. Man, are y'all excited about this weekend, man?
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Y'all excited? I mean, I hear one person saying they're excited. Everybody else is just like, yeah, we good.
Hey. Man, I'm just there for the funeral, bro. I'm just there for the funeral.
Ooh,
I mean, there's gonna be a lot of.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, I'm just there for the funeral, man. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna see a lot of sad people, but we'll get into that later, though.
So, my thing is, with everyone, is there boxing fatigue out here, bro? Are y'all essentially getting drained by how boxing has been terrible over the last 2 years?
Yes.
I mean,
very much so.
I'm gonna look at the glass half full, man. I'm gonna look at the glass half full instead of half empty. We got a big fight this Saturday.
I mean, we got a big fight this Saturday, but look at this undercard though. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Steve Nelson, Reiko Santana, trash. Sultan Alamoha, man, I can't even say his name. Martin Caraballo, trash. Rito Sutsumi, Javier Martinez, trash. Ivan Ditchko, Jermaine Franklin, that same dude that went the distance with AJ and Dillian White, a washed Dillian White, by the way. Ivan Ditchko was in the Olympics around the time. What's that guy's name from France? Tony Yoka. Yeah, Tony Yoka won gold. I think he had fought Philip Hargovich in the Olympics, or at least they were in the Olympics at the same time. Like that crop of guys. Ivan Ditchko was supposed to be somebody special, but hasn't done anything since he's been a pro. So that fight's trash, right? You got Sergey Bohachik and Brandon Adams, the rematch, trash. You got Muhammad Alakel, John Ornelas, trash. Christian Mabili versus Lester Martinez. That one's okay. Could be an upset in that one. But I'm not really big on Christian Mabili, man. He's a one-dimensional fighter. Trash. We got Callum Walsh versus Fernando Vargas Jr. That's the only other fight that I'm interested in. Exactly, Zoe. Because Fernando Vargas Jr. been talking hot shit. He's been saying that Dana White is overlooking him, thinking that he was spoon-fed by his father because of, Fernando Vargas Sr. in his career. He feels like Dana White and others think that the entire Vargas, all three of the Vargas brothers, Emiliano, Amato, and Jr., they've all been spoon-fed by their dad's greatness. So he's basically saying, I'm about to show y'all that amateur pedigree don't matter, because this Callum Walsh kid, he's got pretty good amateur pedigree, right? So he's saying that shit don't matter. I'm about to show y'all why a lot of times especially Cubans. He mentioned Cubans. They come into the professional ranks and they're not very good fighters compared to what they were as amateurs. He's saying he's gonna show them the same deal with this Callum Walsh kid, and I think Callum Walsh is a decent fighter. He's a tough Irish kid. He's undefeated as well. Both of them got high-level knockouts to their names. Now, both of them got some guys on their resume that they should have knocked out. I think the best fighter out of them, or the known fighter out of both of their resumes, in my opinion, is Brad Solomon. You know what I'm saying? Who's been washed for a very long time as well. But I mean, it's a good fight between two prospects. That's a fight right there that I could get with. I'm pretty excited to see. And then you got the main event, which is Canelo and Terence Crawford. So that undercard is garbage, and it is a testimony to how bad boxing has been over the last 2, possibly 3 years, if you want to add 2023. What y'all think about that, man?
I mean, the way I look at it is they giving out big purses, and this is the best they can do, man. That's how I look at it.
No, totally disagree. All right, so I hear what you're saying about them they giving out big purses, but the reality is you could have put some more meat on this bone here, right here for me, right? There's a lot of other fights. Hell, even if you wanted to line them up, a lot of fights like the Callum Walsh and Fernandez Vargas, you could have lined up a lot of fights like that where you're talking about up and coming guys in competitive fights. If you're talking about building a big stage and getting people's name out there on a fight like this, then that's something that you have to do. The only fight that we talking about, which is that one, is the one we're interested in, is a testament to the fact that we already know Christian Mubili, win or lose, he's if he wins, no matter how he looks, he's fighting Canelo. At some point, he's gonna fight Canelo. That's a lineup. That's a given, right? Bach and Adams, well, you can get them niggas 50 grand a piece. That's a given. So you could have did better than this. I'm not buying that it's the purse thing, because according to fucking Turkey, purses, this motherfucker ain't got a problem paying if he can get the names he wants. So you could have did better than this. Especially giving it to Netflix. No, man, they could have did better than that, bro.
Well, I mean, it doesn't align with how Turkey was saying that, he's supposed to be, quote, bringing boxing back and bringing the best fights back to the main stage and of course he was trying to do that with money. But think about it, man. Like some of these fights are not happening, even though the money's there. Like, look what Canelo did to David Benavidez. Turkey was trying to put the money up. Then he backtracked and said, "Oh, I really don't want to see that fight." Well, because Canelo wasn't trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like what Turkey is trying to do, and what what his initial thought process was in getting into the game and trying to monopolize boxing, it's not working out to the degree that we expected and that he had advertised it to be. It's a set, but this is boxing though, right? DAZN, right. That happened with DAZN. Yeah. Right? DAZN abandoned their entire fucking business model, bro.
Yep. PBC did too.
Yeah. Yep. The zone was all about bringing in fighters, the top fighters in the sport, the biggest names of the sport. You can watch them fight for $9.99 a month on an app. The death of pay-per-view. That was in 2018. Fast forward to 2025. We got DAZN pay-per-views all over the goddamn place.
Man, they got a paywall behind the paywall.
Yeah. First of all, you got to pay the 90. I think it's like 99. I don't know how much it is, but it's like $100, I think, or something like that. You got to pay that for the app. Then you got to pay the damn pay-per-view fee. So it's like, so you get the app for this much, and then I got to pay for the damn fight on top of that. You completely abandoned your business model. But this is what they do in boxing. Why? Because the fighters ask for too much fucking money, and they're obliging. That's the problem. I tell guys all the time, man, we got to go back to robbing these dudes, man. Where Don King at where you need him? We need to go back, bro. Hate to say it, but when you don't give a motherfucker a full plate of food, he's grateful for the amount of food you give him. So he gonna give you all he got for the amount you give him. But when you give him the whole plate, he gonna be like, shit, I already got that shit. You know what I'm saying? We good, bro.
I want to piggyback on something you just pointed out. On top of the purses, also like when you had Don King in the sport before the Ali Act, and while I agree with most of the Ali Act things, Don King used to have fights planned like 2 or 3 fights in advance. So they'd be like, we're gonna have this fight, this fight, this fight. And in the Ali Act, You can't guarantee, like, nobody can guarantee the actual services of a fighter, even if they are signed to them. The fighter can just tell you no. Like, so it used to be just money disputes. Now a dude just tell you straight up, like, nah, I'm
No.
just not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shit, it all goes back to that famous comment by Angel Garcia. Why should we fight a Keith Thurman when we can fight Ross Salk and get $2 million? Goes back to that.
Exactly. I could fight. Why would I fight a Keith Thurman when I can fight a Rod Selka for $1 million? Exactly. Now they ended up fighting Keith Thurman eventually, right? But the purse had to be to their liking. Whereas back in the day, I mean, we still had some of the same situations. People wanted a certain purse. You had ducking back in the day. I'm not saying back in the day was perfect, but it's the ducking frequency today is at an all-time high, bro. You got a bunch of guys that are undefeated all over the fucking place, bro. I'm even like, I'm looking at the Vargas brothers. Like, think about brothers in boxing, like Deontay Wilder and Marcellus Wilder, for example, right? Like, Marcellus was trash. I mean, he ended up getting knocked out a few times and then just went, he just disappeared. You have a lot of brothers in boxing that it's hard for two of them to stay at the same level, right? I remember Travis and Tarvis Sims, right? Travis Sims was the better brother, right? Tarvis was decent, but Travis was the better brother, right? You got the Charlo brothers. They had to feed off of each other to be great, right? But I'm looking at the Vargas brothers. All three of them are undefeated fighters, knocking everybody out. It's because they're cherry picking their opposition. Fernando Vargas Jr. has the best resume of all of them, and his best opponent is Brad Sullivan, like I said earlier. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they're even benefiting from this cherry picking era where you, as an American fighter anyway, I'll say that, you don't have to fight remotely close to anybody your level until you've got like 15, 20, 30 fucking wins.
But the thing is, but on the bad thing with something like TKO coming in, with Dana White coming in, like, the opposite side is Dana White is gonna give us some fucking 12-0 bar fighter versus another 12-0 bar fighter every Friday, and tell everybody this is the best fight ever because there's not gonna be no independent rankings and shit. The same bullshit he do in UFC, my nigga. There's nobody to tell you otherwise, but they commentated that this is the best fighter. There's no independent. Watch, you're gonna see some bullshit happening with TKO against a lot of bum ass 11-0 niggas fighting a bum ass 9-0 go. Gonna be built as this is the best fighting the best, and niggas gonna fall for it, dog. This is what Dana White's gonna do. It's not gonna be any better, dog.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I like the idea of trying to consolidate all these belts. We've been trying to do that anyway, right? But the Dana White business model is trying to consolidate even the major sanctioning bodies, right? Like, instead of saying, WBC, WBO, WBI, IBF, now we got one champion with one belt. All of them will come together. I mean, I like the idea, but I don't think it's realistic. Boxing is foundationally built off of, sanctioning bodies, right? I mean, I know in the beginning there was just the NBA championship, which I think in 1963, they changed to the WBA. I understand that, but at the end of the day, how long we've been doing this, where we've had multiple sanctioning bodies, we're talking 50, 60 years, probably, about 60 years now, almost. So
longer than that, because you said NBA. It wasn't just the NBA. Remember, there's the NBA and the New York Athletic State.
Well, the New York Athletic was not recognized as a high level title as the NBA. You see what I'm saying? Like, that was more of a, hey, you have the title, but you're not the top guy yet. Whereas WBC, WBO, IBF, and WBA, they're all on the same level today. You see what I'm saying? And then you have the sub levels, whereas IBO, IBO is probably in a level on itself, and then under them will be like WBU, WBF, that dumb shit, IBC, IBA, right? Like, And so yeah, you're right. You had that New York State Athletic title, and then you had NBA.
Because
But even that,
if I'm not mistaken, the New York Athletic title is what became the WBC.
that's possible. Yeah, I
It's
don't
possible.
recall that. I don't recall.
Plus, yeah, it
I
was
think
more
you're right
like
on
being
that.
a more like being a newspaper champion.
Yeah, because I think the WBC, that was the second one, and the WBA came out in '63. WBC I think was the late '60s. I got to go back and look at that.
I want to
And
say
then
the NBA made the switch in '61, and the New York Athletic State Commission established made the WBC in like '63 or
I thought
'64,
the
something like
WBC
that.
was late '60s because I know the
63.
young. Go ahead, Bo.
I say WBC was 63 and the WBA was 62.
Okay,
Okay.
62. Yeah, I know it's something like that. Okay,
Okay.
so and then the youngest title is what, the IBF, right? In the '80s.
Yeah,
Nah, the
I,
Yeah.
WBO.
WBO was 1990.
WBO.
No. I thought the WBO was a minor title before that, and then they became a major title in 2000, like 2007
2006
or
is when
something
it
like that.
became the major title because that was the start of the four belt era. It came out
Right,
in 1990. Yeah. So yeah, it was a
right.
minor title in 1990.
Okay, okay,
In
okay.
1990. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So the youngest title is the WBO by definition. IBF is right before that. I think when was the IBF, like 83, 84, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like
But
that.
point being though is, the idea is to remove all that shit, right? And then just go back to one. I mean, I get it, but we've been predicated on multiple titles, as Zoe mentioned, even longer than 60 years at this point. So I just don't see Dana White changing that, man.
Yeah, because Dana White couldn't even consolidate all the titles in fucking MMA, nigga. Because UFC, what the welterweight champion UFC was still another welterweight champion and motherfucking Pride and all that WEC
Yeah,
and all that other
Bellator.
shit. Yeah, so you feel me? That shit, he could even do that shit there. What's more likely is gonna happen? TKO is gonna come out with their own belt and they're gonna act like everything don't exist, nigga. And they're gonna have some
Yeah.
bum ass fighter holding their belt that
That
sucks.
that sounds like a possibility because it was very interesting when in two of their appearances when Alex Sheik had Canelo take off that WBC belt.
Yeah, like, watch. You can see Josh Padley, the TKO welterweight champ. I mean, junior featherweight champion of the world, and we are supposed to take this shit seriously, man. Fuck out of here.
Yeah. I mean, remember Anthony Kakase had a title at one point. You know what I'm saying? At 130, bro. Like,
But what I'm
like
saying, when the TKO belt come out, don't expect to see no Canelo, don't expect to see no Inoue, don't expect to see no Shakur, no Zepeda, no Farmer, no none of these guys at that level. Expect to see fucking what's the nigga, Big Baby Miller. You feel me? Big Baby Anderson, that type nigga. That's gonna hold those titles, dog.
he shouldn't release that belt until he gets everybody on board to consolidate. If he can't get everybody to consolidate, he should just not release that belt. That would be
Yeah.
stupid
Well,
because
It's
it would
just
just be
remember
it'd
the
be
rumors
another.
that
Go ahead, Corey.
remember when there was rumors PBC was gonna start belts, and I
I
remember
remember
like
that
people
Yeah,
shit.
had all these like honestly like I definitely believe the rumors because I remember people were releasing formats as to how they were gonna do it and what fights were gonna happen because a lot of the fights ended up happening, but when they kept seeing like online like the outrage over it, they kind of realized that yeah we can't pull that shit off, and I think that's what'll happen with this situation.
Dana White is gonna use TKO. Is gonna be just like how UFC is. He's gonna make a little wall around his fighters. They're gonna fight each other. He's gonna promote the hell out of it and convince people that this scrub ass club fighter is good and this because he does it in MMA. He does it all the time. People fall for it. They've been falling for it for like a decade now. He put up bums and they're gonna fall for it. You're gonna call him TKO champion and they're gonna sell. And they're gonna make like $10 a belt and shit, $10 a fight and shit. That's how it's gonna happen, bro. And nobody's gonna
yeah,
go over there. Nobody serious is gonna go over there.
yeah, yeah. We'll see how that goes. It's kind of like that Bridgerweight title.
Damn, you beat me to it. Yep. Beat me to it.
Does
Mm,
it
That
still
Bridgerweight
exist?
shit.
Yeah, it still
yeah, I know,
exists. The
dude.
WBC actually, The other sanctioning bodies are talking about incorporating a bridgerweight title of their own.
I think the
Damn.
WBA actually did create one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't
That.
ever since that Silva fight. What was it? Silva versus who was it? Coley? Who was it? Ever since the inaugural
Um.
title fight, I haven't watched another fight in that weight class other than the inaugural title fight. I
Oh,
can't
that was
remember.
I think I
Kaboom.
watched
Was it Kaboom? What's that dude name?
Oscar Rivas.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Oscar Rivas
That's it.
and
Yeah.
Alonso Coley, was it?
Somebody in the chat said it's gonna be Ben Whitaker's belt.
Yeah,
That TKO
exactly.
belt.
That's exactly yes. And they're gonna sell. Why? They're gonna sell the shit out of that shit, dog.
Josh Kelly and Ben Whitaker gonna be champions.
What's that other? What's that other bum ass Irish nigga? What's that other bum ass Irish nigga that got knocked out by the Mexican? That MMA niggas was trying to hype up in boxing. What's his name?
He
I
was
have
an
no
MMA
idea.
fighter.
He's tall as shit. He like 6'1". Gary Cully, some shit like that.
Oh, Gary
Scully.
Scully. Yeah, he got knocked out by.
Scully.
That's exactly the type
yo,
of
that's
nigga
the
that's
fight
gonna win a
before
Cully,
title.
whatever his name is.
he
Yeah.
knocked the dude
Yeah.
out.
He was garbage from day one, though, man. Like,
But he
again, a product of cherry picked opponents, bro.
he gets knocked out, and the referee is threatening to disqualify the dude who knocked him out because he was over celebrating. I remember that shit.
Man,
Yeah.
they had that UFC fight. Right, what's his name? Ariel Hakawa, whatever the fucking name is. Man, that nigga before the fight talk about, oh, this guy's gonna be a superstar. He just because this nigga took a picture of McGregor, he's gonna be a superstar. He's great. He's 6'1". I'm like, this nigga ass, dog.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's jump into it, man. We did a lot of small talk, try to get some more people in. We know this is the first show in a very long time. This whole year of 2025, we didn't do a show. So we will be in Vegas. We will be going live in Vegas as well. So stay tuned for that. But let's jump into it, fellas. All right, man. You got Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford. You got Canelo Alvarez basically ducking David Benavidez. I'm sorry. Canelo Alvarez choosing Terence Crawford. I'm sorry, man. Listen, fuck this shit. Nobody asked for this fight.
No.
Now, there were people that were intrigued, and I remember people were like, yo, that's a stupid fight because Bud fights at 147. Yes, he did move up to 154 for one fight, but he fights at 147, right? He's essentially moving up, what, 54, 60, 68. That's 3 weight classes. Fighting one fight in a weight class does not consider you a bona fide fighter in that weight class, right? Now, Bud has fought at 135. I don't think he had a stint at 130. I think he's at 135, right? Did he go to 130?
He started at 130.
130. Okay, yeah.
Nah,
he
he started
started
at
130.
135. He started at 135. He fought in the amateurs at 132.
That's what I thought. So 135 professionally.
Oh, okay.
135, right? Because that's where he had beat. That's where he had beat Gamboa at 135, right?
Yeah.
And then you got 140 where he had become the first undisputed champion there. And then you got 147 where he became second undisputed champion, right? So you got a guy that's fighting his pro career at 135, right? And moving all the way up to 168. Now Canelo, he fought at that weight as well. Remember, he fought Miguel Vasquez twice at like 135, but he was like, what, 17, 18 years old at that time, right? Might have been even younger than that. Might have been like 16, because Canelo turned pro at 15, right? He didn't have an amateur career. He turned pro. So Canelo's been lingering around at the higher weight divisions for quite some time now, whereas Terence Crawford is not. So many people were dismissing this fight when it was in talks. People were saying, yeah, it's intriguing. Terence Crawford's a beast. He's a number 1 pound for pound guy, or if you didn't have number 1, you had him at least in the top 5. He's one of those type of fighters. It's intriguing, but it's not realistic. Majority of people, boxing fans, were trying to get Canelo to fight David Benavidez, especially when David Benavidez beat David Morrell. Right? That was pretty much locked in by the majority of boxing fans. But Canelo did not want to make that fight for whatever reason. His idea of, you know, making a fight with somebody is, who has he fought? That's what he kept saying to Demetrius Andrade. That's what he was saying about David Benavidez. Who has he fought? These guys haven't fought anybody. But then when you look at Terence Crawford's resume, Canelo actually has the ability outside of Errol Spence to say, who the fuck has Terence Crawford fought? Right? Because, listen, it is not a secret that Terence Crawford's resume is not the greatest. We know this. It's not the best, right? His resume at 135 is not the best. Beating Ricky Burns and guys at 140, his run to the undisputed title was not the best. Granted, those are the guys that were in front of him. Those are the guys that had titles. I forget the African guy's name, but he picked up 2 titles in fucking 6 months and ended up fighting him. What's the guy's name? The African guy. He beat him.
The
Ndongo. He beat him for those 2 titles, right? To win undisputed. I think Terence Crawford had taken a title off of Victor Postal. That was the other title that he had. So, I mean, he did what he had to do at 140, but when you look at the level of competition there, it wasn't very that high outside of probably, if you respect Ricky Burns and then Victor Postal, right? So his resume is not really that good there either. Then you go to 147, you look at who he's fought there. Washed Kell Brook, washed Amir Khan, right? He fought Sean Porter. Sean Porter was probably his best win outside of Errol Spence, right? So at the end of the day, Errol Spence is what kind of catapulted Terence Crawford's resume. When you look at his resume, you're like, yeah, that's okay. You get to Sean Porter, it's like, okay, that's good. And then you get to Errol Spence, like, that's great. That's pretty much it. So Canelo had the opportunity to say the same shit that he's saying about David Benavidez, to say that about Terence Crawford. Why am I saying that? Because Canelo fans are on the very Three Kings Boxing Facebook page saying as such. When you say I picked Terence Crawford to win, right? If you say that, Canelo fans run to the comments and say, who has Terence Crawford beat? They immediately say that. So at the end of the day, he had the opportunity to say that about Terence, but he picked Terence, or he allowed this fight to commence. Why? Because there is an advantage that Canelo sees, right? It's kind of like the Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia effect, right? Errol Spence is campaigning at 147. Mikey Garcia has campaigned as low as 126, right? And moved up to 130, moved up to 135, moved up to 140, right? And then finally got into 147. It's the same kind of effect there. The difference is Terence Crawford is not a Mikey Garcia. That's the difference. Totally different fighter, different skill set, different mentality altogether. Oh, it's like a 180, completely different. But Team Canelo sees the advantage. Hey, this motherfucker want to move up 3 weight classes, only fought 1 time at 154, and come into my division and challenge for my undisputed crown. Hell yeah, we'll take that. Go ahead. We'll take that. Just pay me the money. Here's the money, Canelo. Bet. That's better than fighting David Benavidez, because David Benavidez is a bigger threat on paper. He's bigger than Canelo. He's got the power. He's got the stamina, right? He's got the work rate. He's essentially a light heavyweight that was fighting that super middleweight. Yeah, that's a more dangerous fight. So that's why they went the Crawford route. So now that the backstory's out there, y'all niggas acting all shy and shit, don't want to jump in. What do y'all got?
Well, first off, remember, this was the fight even Canelo didn't want. Because remember, he claimed he wouldn't get credit for beating fucking Crawford. Then all of a sudden, he pulled the whole show me the money. And when they showed the motherfucker to him, he's all, yeah, you know what? I can fight this guy. I'll make the fight. But when I look at this fight and I tell people, listen, Canelo Alvarez has more he has to adjust to in this fight than Terence Crawford to me. Canelo Alvarez has been on the decline. Now, people will say, well, Crawford's been on the decline, but not like Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo Alvarez still cannot handle boxers. Canelo Alvarez his volume, his work rate and volume has gone down. right? Canelo Alvarez has not knocked nobody out. And quite frankly, even when Canelo Alvarez has knocked guys down, Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion, has not shown that same killer instinct he used to have when he could go in there and finish you the fuck off. But Terence
Right.
Crawford is a different dude that will do that. Terence Crawford rose to the occasion in the biggest fight of his life against Earl Spence and put a whooping on Earl that nobody fucking saw coming. I don't care what you say, nobody saw that coming. And I agree with 2K when he said against Madrimal, because people say, well, look how he looked against Madrimal. He didn't care about that fucking fight with
He
Madrimal.
didn't give a shit about no Madrimal. Listen, man. Terence Crawford is like, all right, man. I gotta get some dough, man. Who can we fight, man?
Right.
Get that nigga. I think Madrimal was undefeated at the time. He's undefeated. He's the champion. Just get that nigga. I'll take him.
Exactly. I do not believe that Terence Crawford's going to come in a full 168. I think he might come in 162, NBA 162 and 164. What Canelo Alvarez is going to have to deal with in somebody, which is something you can't train for, is ring IQ and attitude is the biggest default factor here. Crawford has that attitude where you're not just going to fucking hit me and think that's going to be it. You're going to hit me. Think about when he fought Mean Machine. When Mean Machine hurt him, he put a whooping on that dude. Same thing with Gamboa. When Gamboa hurt him, he put a whooping on that dude. That is this nigga's mentality. Mentality counts for a lot. A lot of niggas is not counting that. They looking at size and power. That motherfucking Crawford's mentality is, you come at me and you press me, I'm gonna press you right back. Now, can you stand my press? And I think that's where we're going to see the difference in this fight, because Crawford's ring IQ, his ability to get in and out, fight lefty, righty, is going to give Canelo Alvarez problems.
Yep.
Man, I hear what you guys saying. I do think Crawford has more avenues to winning because he has a bigger toolbox, a bigger skill set. He's smarter. But at the same time, there's an X factor in this fight, and it's the fact that the fight is at 168.
Right.
And the fact that Canelo was willing to take the fight at 168 is a big thing. Like, I understand that Bud walks around 180, but there's a reason he was fighting at 135, 140, and 147. I don't care. What's
that reason? What's that reason? What do you think it is?
I think with these nutritionists we have nowadays, they just figured at that weight class, that's where he's the sharpest, that's where he's the fastest, that's where his athletic ability peaks more. I feel like they feel like those weight classes, he peaks better at those weight classes, especially at that age.
That's a good point. And I can tell you how this shit works, right? Whenever I got back into amateur boxing in my mid-20s, right? At that time, I had beefed up and shit. I had got, from 150 to like 190, right? Around that time. So I was eating a lot. I was gaining a lot of muscle and all that. And I decided at 190 pounds, I wanted to go back and box again. So I get in the gym. I'm hitting the bag. I'm doing all this shit. The fucking trainer tells me, he's like, how much do you weigh? I say 190, 195-ish. He's like, bet. We're going to get you down to 152. We think your power is going to be too much for any fighter at that weight class. That's the type of shit that they do, Zo. Yeah. So you can be, they bring you down because they think you have an advantage at lower weights. It's not because you can't compete at a higher weight. It's because they want you to dominate at a lower weight. So that's essentially why I think Bud was fighting at lower weights his entire career.
And I also think, like, peak wise, like, you feel me? I feel like certain athletes and nutritionists nowadays have mastered this shit. No, they know there's a certain weight where you peak. Like, it's just like not even the shit you see, the way you react. You feel me? You just sharper. You feel me? I think they know, like, they don't master that shit. So that's why certain fighters fight at the certain weight classes, and some fighters fight at weight classes near their actual weight because they feel like this is where they sharpest at. This is where they could put all their tools into
I disagree with you saying that's where they're the sharpest at. I mean, it's never. I've never heard it. I mean, I get what you're saying. I just think that it's less of a tool utilization concept and more of a weight bullying concept. That's what I think it is. Because you can still be sharp at a higher weight division, but your power may not resonate because those are bigger guys. They're all your size. So
Also, it helps with durability.
Exactly. Me at that time being 190, fighting other 200-pound guys, I may not get the same amount of knockouts, or the damage from my punches may not be as concussive as it would be when I'm fighting guys down at 152, which is, welterweight in the amateurs. You see what I'm saying? So that's the difference, and that's what they do with a lot of these guys, man. Somebody in the chat, my man Virtuoso, said Devin Haney's another example. Exactly. I feel like Floyd Mayweather early in his career was an example of that. Floyd Mayweather was fighting at like what, 120, 126?
126.
Yeah.
He started at 130.
130. Yeah. Floyd is bigger than 130. We know that. You know what I'm saying? So Floyd was walking around at 154. He was walking around in that weight division. And that's where he actually fought Canelo, right at that catch weight of 152. And that's what they were saying. Like, hey, he's actually fighting guys, in the division that he walks around in. And that's why he moved back down, because it's like, yeah, he's more dominant at those lower weight classes. So I get what you're saying. I don't 100% disagree with it. I don't think it's from a sharper tool set perspective. I think it's more of a those guys can't handle you at that weight division from a dominance or power perspective.
Yeah, it's more of a situation of they wanted to build a successful resume for him, so they start him at a lower weight class so he could dominate. Yeah, start building his legacy at a lower weight and then move him up.
Yep.
I don't think the plan was ever 168.
I agree with that. I don't think 168 was ever in the cards either until money was involved. I think Crawford looked at Canelo and was like, I could beat this motherfucker, man. Mm-hmm. And then and I think initially it was a situation where it was like, okay, you just talking. He's like, no, I could really beat this nigga. Look at this fight, and look at this fight, and look at that fight. Look what he does here. Look what he does there. I could beat this guy, and we can get a huge bag, and we can get a huge bag in the process of me winning. And then when he's undisputed champion, right, the sense of urgency to get that fight done before Crawford gets too old and retires, the sense of urgency grew. All they needed was that conduit to be able to pay the bag, and they found it in Turkey.
Here's my thing on the fight. I personally think, like, this is really about Crawford. In my opinion, this is how is Crawford going to handle 168, right? Because if we're talking just each of them at a comfortable weight at, like, let's just say 154 or 160, like, this isn't even a conversation. I'm always going to choose Bud's ring IQ and skill set over Canelo's power all day, every day, because it's just literally been proven throughout Canelo's career that he cannot handle someone that can outthink him and that has a skill set to move their feet, hit them with the jab, and is really accurate with their punches. So in this case, I think this is going to be, and Canelo hasn't really fought, and he's literally his resume at 168 is not great at all. Like, the fighters that he's fought at 168 aren't that great. Like let's just be honest right now. They aren't great. They're paper champs. Like these are guys that ain't really hasn't even beaten anybody really.
Rocky Fielding.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's been doing this for so long that, like, it's just he's just been comfortable with this level of, I don't want to say mediocrity, but you know what I mean? Like there hasn't been any. He's ran from every, like, since he's been at 168, he's ran from any big fight, like any dangerous fight he has ran from. And, like, I think that's really going to be a hindrance to him when it comes down to Crawford. And I think what Crawford is going to do, Crawford already has him figured out. That's why, like, Crawford's mentality is just, when he's focused on an objective, he's going in there and he's going to literally destroy you. That's what we've seen when the Spence fight came, and he told Spence like, "I'm gonna beat your ass when we fight." And this is before the fight even like this is even before like you know what I'm saying they were talking about making a fight. He was just like, "We need to make this fight," and he told him he was gonna whoop his ass. And sure enough, when the fight actually came, it was utter pure domination. Like, bang.
What was the other fight?
So-
what was the other fight? What was the other fight, Jay, where he said that, and it was pure
That he was
domination?
The other
Yep.
fight? I can't remember.
Victor
I don't
Postol.
even-
Victor
Oh
Postol.
yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Now, here's the deal. So this is the thing that people need to understand, and I'm not. This doesn't mean I'm picking Crawford. I'm just saying these things. We're making a case for both fighters right now. Terence Crawford, when he needs to step up, he does it, and when he steps up, he shows you a different level of himself, man.
Exactly.
When he fought
It's that
Victor
it
Postol, exactly. When he fought Victor Postol, and people are gonna be like, "Man, you're comparing a performance of Victor against Victor Postol to what he could possibly do to Canelo." No, this is what I'm saying. Victor Postol was somewhat, I say somewhat, he wasn't a Lucas Matisse or anything like that at 140, but somewhat of a boogeyman. Why? Because you could thank Danny Garcia's camp for that. They ducked him and moved up to 147. Victor Postol was the next guy up for the WBC title, and Danny Garcia and Angel were like, "Man, fuck that, man." Victor Postol was beating the shit out of everybody at that point in time, and they said, "Man, fuck that."
He dominated Matisse, who you pointed out.
He sure did. Right.
Poorly.
Yeah, he sure
I
did.
think,
He dominated Matisse. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now I'm finna say I think Danny was supposed to fight him after he fought that dude, Peterson, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it was
Danny's
after
like, "Nah, I'm not doing that."
I thought it was after Mauricio Herrera, but you're right, because Peterson was after Mauricio
No.
Herrera.
Yeah. One of those fights where he should have lost and won. It's pretty much the scenario. It was either Herrera or fucking Peterson. But the point is, he really lost the fight and won and said, "Well, I'm leaving the division. Thank you." And went to 147. He's like, I'm not going through that shit again with this Victor Postol guy. So that right there gave Victor Postol somewhat of a boogeyman status, bro, when that took place. Terence Crawford marched in there and beat the dog shit out of this nigga to the point he showed things that we hadn't seen him do yet in that fight.
He was stunting on that nigga.
He was destroying Victor Postol to the point where people before the fight were like, "Yo, Victor Postol's, man, that motherfucker right there, bro. I'm excited to see what he does with that title." To, man, that nigga was never really that good. Literally, overnight.
I thought it was funny. Crawford was beating that dude ass so bad, he ended up chasing him across the ring.
Yep. I'm gonna tell you guys something, man. When I saw the Victor, it wasn't Gamboa, it wasn't Ricky Burns, it wasn't Julius Ndongo. When I saw the fucking Victor Postol fight, I said, "This nigga right here is the real deal." Guys, y'all know I be on point with this shit. I did it with fucking Usyk. When Usyk beat Murat Gassiev, I said, "This nigga's the real deal."
He amazed me too.
And look where he is today. I'm saying it, bro. When he beat Victor Postol that way, I said Terence Crawford will not be fucked with for a very long time, bro. Now, he goes up to 147, and like I said, resume is sketchy. But then, remember, I've been telling you guys since 2017, Terence Crawford was going to beat Errol Spence. I have videos on this channel saying Terence Crawford beats Errol Spence, right? Now, back then, man, they said the same shit they're saying about Canelo minus the weight. Oh, man, he ain't fighting nobody, bro. Hey, you know, look what he did. He beat Julius Ndongo. Victor Postol was trash. And I bring up the boogeyman situation. No, he was never that. You overrating him. Okay, all right, fine. It's just what everybody was saying at that time. But fuck it. He's no longer that, right?
Right.
He was trash like everybody else. Bet. But he's still gonna beat Errol Spence. Nah, man, Errol done he beat Danny Garcia, he beat Sean Porter, he beat Carol Book. Man, he done cleaned out 147. He would have beat Keith Thurman, and Keith Thurman, bitch ass, wasn't playing no flute on a grassy knoll. I get that. But the point is, he's still gonna beat Errol Spence. And I would break it all the way down as to why. Not only did he prove me correct, this nigga destroyed Errol Spence.
Sent that nigga into semi-retirement.
He had 2K talking about like, we need to stop this fight. We need to stop this fight.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. Man, I was
He
worried.
had that nigga 2K and that's about to draw a tear and shit.
You know, Bo and Jay were like, if he dies, he dies. I'm like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I know he signed up for this shit, but this is bad. This is tragic. We need to stop this. Like, I'm Apollo Creed's trainer, 100%. Stop the damn fight. Like, and at the end of the day, he exceeded. I mean, he over exceeded expectations, bro. Like, Terence Crawford has showed you time and time again. He steps up to the fucking occasion, bro, and does what the fuck he says he's going to do. What are they saying before this fight? Bo Mack and Terence ain't really talking. That's another thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's big right there.
Terence ain't fucking talking at all. This nigga denied media in his workout. He said, nope, no media. Bo Mack is the one, we about to fuck this boy up. Listen, man, I'm just saying, it's hard to say that Canelo goes in here and dominates Terence Crawford when Canelo did not even look good in his last fight. And they're going to blame it on the Cuban, right? They're going to blame it on him. Oh, he was running. Oh, okay, well, Canelo didn't cut the ring off either.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that essentially Terence Crawford could fight Canelo the way that he fought Victor Postal because Canelo won't be able to cut the ring off. That's what you're saying. Canelo didn't look good against John Ryder. He really didn't. He allowed Edgar Berlanga to go 12 rounds when Shiraz destroyed that nigga in 2.
Yep. Same thing with Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia go 12 rounds when some nigga with no knockouts stopped this motherfucker.
No knockouts. Stops him.
Right? I don't even know if Canelo has that gear anymore, though. Like, think about when is the last time Canelo actually has shown the ability to just rise above his opponent instead of just completely just, you know what I mean? Like, what is it, Triple G? Triple G was the last fight because he had his chance against Bivol, and he literally folded it in. He packed it in.
You gotta preface that, right? Yeah. You're saying Triple G, but what fight? The third one? The Watch Triple G that lost to the
first and second fight. No, I'm gonna say the second fight.
Not the first one, because the first one was a draw, in my opinion. I had Canelo winning the first fight. I had Canelo winning the first fight by a round, I believe it was. But a draw or a Triple G win, I'm fine with that, right? The second fight, I had Canelo winning. I think I had Canelo winning 7 rounds, or I think it was 7 or 8 rounds. But a lot of people say that Triple G won that fight too. They were close rounds, but I thought Canelo bagged more of the close rounds, which had a larger deficit for Triple G on my scorecard. The third fight, Triple G lost to fucking Sergey Devryanchenko before that. So in my opinion. And was getting his ass whooped by the Japanese dude before he finally hurt him.
Getting crushed in the body. What's that name? Ryu Ishida, whatever his name is.
Right.
Yeah, Ryota Murata.
Daniel Jacobs.
Well, Daniel Jacobs is way before. It isn't a bad, but that was before the first Canelo fight. But you're right. But that doesn't prove the point of what we're making. We're making that Triple G looked good against Canelo in the first fight, but even though he looked bad against Daniel Jacobs before that, we're talking about when. And basically, my point was going to be, when has Canelo really rose above the competition when the competition was stiff? When has that taken place? I don't know when.
Triple G too. That's the last that I can remember.
He didn't 100% rise above Triple G like that. Those rounds were close.
Like those rounds were close.
They were close, but he had to hit. So it brought the most out of him. That's what I'm saying.
When has Canelo dominated a level opponent?
That Triple G is. Well, I ain't even gonna say Triple G is an A-level.
Yeah, about to say. Hell, you gotta ask when's the last time he fought an A-level opponent. You gotta go back to Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, I mean, because you could say Miguel Cotto, but Miguel Cotto was an A-level at that time.
Nope.
And even
I
then,
don't
that
even want to
wasn't
say A
dominant.
level though.
Even then,
Like
that
And
wasn't
Cotto,
dominant.
and there are people that thought Cotto won.
One.
I'm not one of
Agreed.
them, but it wasn't dominant.
Yeah, I didn't think Cotto won that fight at all, but you're right. It wasn't dominant. There were close rounds there as well. Like
Like,
I'll go through the resume. You got Austin Trout. That wasn't dominant. Okay. You got Erislandy Lara. I thought he lost that fight.
Yep.
yeah,
You've got Triple G, all three. The only one that was dominant was the third one, but that is a completely washed, 100% washed Triple G. Okay. You've got Callum Smith. Was he really even ever that good? I remember he
No.
went life and
no.
death with. I remember he went in life and death with a guy by the name of Nicky Foreskin. I know that ain't his last name, but that's what we call him today. Nicky Foreskin, a motherfucker that wasn't even a real boxer. He was actually a kickboxer that was put in the goddamn Super Six tournament last minute of the WBSS. It was last minute because a whole bunch of niggas was dropping out of the goddamn 168 WBSS tournament. So they brought in Nicky Foreskin from Denmark or some shit, and he went life and death with that guy.
Yep. Yep. And he should have. And he should have took that L to John Ryder.
I was just getting ready to say that. Went life and death with fucking John Ryder. He was never that good of a fighter. Okay, we got Sergey Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev, previous to that, right, was looking washed up to that point. He had been washed. Andre Ward took care of business on that nigga.
I'm about to say, yeah.
Andre
Andre
Ward
Ward.
looked terrible.
he
and
had
then
just
they
came
did
3
to
months before
Charles
that. He
Kovalev's
came
camp.
3 months before that. He came off a grueling fight again with was it Yarde?
That's what
Yep.
Corey just said.
Yep.
That's what Corey just said. Yeah, he was
They pulled that nigga off the club floor.
Yeah, he
Never
was
pulled that
stumbling
nigga
and
off the
bumbling
club
against trash ass Anthony Yard, bro. Stumbling and fucking bumbling, bro. You know what I'm saying? Okay,
No, it wasn't Yard. It wasn't Yard. It wasn't Yard. It was that other motherfucker he rematched, the one nigga who knocked him out.
Aleda Alvarez.
Yeah,
Alida
bro.
Alvarez.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it was.
Was
That's what
it?
it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
what he fought.
Alida Alvarez was 2019. I remember that. The second fight. So
Yeah,
the point is, Andre Ward took everything out of Sergey Kovalev in that second fight. That's my point. None of that matters whether it was Alida Alvarez, Anthony Yard. None of that matters. Andre Ward took everything out of that nigga in the second fight. He was done at that point. Sergey Kovalev could have retired. Okay. Now let's go down in the past. Shane Mosley, super washed.
couldn't stop him.
That's what I'm saying. So the only A-level competition, if you want to call it A-level, that Canelo actually fought, he lost. Floyd Mayweather, Dimitri Bivol, and I thought he lost to Erislandy Lara. That track record ain't looking good, ladies and gentlemen.
And you know what? You want to know you want to know the thing in all three of those fights, or what? All three of those fights. What was the telling thing? When his power does not work, you take his power away, he gets frustrated. All three fights.
Yep.
Take his
That's
power
what
away.
I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna go one step past that. I agree with you about like his power having to like put water in these dudes' gas tanks. He's never had great stamina. So when you fight other great fighters, at some point you got to step it up and get to another gear. You gotta have another gear.
Canelo does not have that other gear. He doesn't have it.
Absolutely not.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Go ahead, Zo.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I think at the end of the day, this is gonna come down to three things: can Bud control Nello with his lead hand? Because we see when Bivol, Austin Trout, Lara, and Floyd was able not only control with the lead hand, make him go backwards at times. The other thing is Canelo freeze Bud with the feints. Because when you able to freeze Bud with the feints, you're able to counter his single jab. Because when he gets stuck when he throws when he's up against somebody who have a good feint game, Bud usually throws a single jab and he could get counted over that. We saw that in the Avedisian fight. We saw that
Yeah.
in the Sean Porter fight, and we saw that shit a shitload of time against the Madrigal fight because that nigga feinted 1,000 times per round. So can Canelo freeze him with the feint? And then the third shit is the X factor, which is the weight. And that's the biggest thing. You feel me? It's not about who makes more mistakes because Canelo make more mistakes than Bud. It's about whose mistake is more pronounced in this particular fight. Can Bud get away from his mistakes in this weight class like he does in other weight classes? Like for instance, I know Bud's a master at disengagement. He can hit you with C steps and L steps, but he also has a tendency to go back in straight lines. I'm scared that when he go back in straight lines, Canelo might hit him with the patented double jab overhand. Even if it doesn't land cleanly, and it might have an effect because of the weight. And even if it doesn't have an effect of weight, if you have to shell up against that shit, that's a good impression on the judges to score points. And we all know it doesn't take much for the judges to be impressed by what Canelo do.
So you're saying Terence Crawford's movement going backwards is like Deontay Wilder's, where he has absolutely no defense?
No, I'm not saying that. But we seen against
he said he had a tendency to.
Yeah, we seen it against Sean Porter. We seen it against Avedisian.
Sean Porter has better footwork than Canelo Alvarez.
But I'm saying when he gets caught, even Avedisian have great footwork. Avedisian was able to take penetration steps sometimes when this nigga was going straight back and catch him with over right hand. Avedisian sucked, but that's just a mistake. But
I don't put stock in guys that Crawford already knows he can beat, man.
I hear you, but like you say, that speculation, I'm only going by what the film showed me. You feel me? So what the film showed,
you're right. You're
feel
right.
me? So like that's him going in straight line. Now I'm not saying I have seen Bud after 3-4 rounds, he gets that shit down, and then he usually, if it's not successful, he will start pivoting, hit with C step, L step, spinning around. I know he would do that, but I don't know how he's able to take those punches at 168. So I don't know if he gets to rectify those mistakes later. You feel me? And then another thing is the probing for both guys. When it comes to probing, like I said, like I brought up Avedisian, Brooks, Madrigal, Porter, they was able to time Bud's probing right hand and counter them. That's something Canelo is good at. But at the same time, Canelo also struggled with elite lead right hands, which Bud will have, because we've seen what Beaver and even a smaller Floyd was able to put him in the back foot and make him go backward. So the probing shit, I don't know who's gonna win that battle, but that's gonna be an important battle for who wins and shit. And then at the end of the day, it comes into it's all about the size, man. To me, it's gonna be how well Canelo Bud holds 168. That's what it comes down to me. If Bud holds 168, even with the mistake he makes, he'll be able to take the punishment and still win.
Let me help you out, bro. I get what you're saying. When you say it's all about the size, you might want to detail that. So essentially, you're saying that Bud moving up to 168 could be a slower, right, on his feet, slower on his feet. Stamina gauge may not be as high because he's carrying it so much more weight.
Durability.
Yeah, that he can get tired quicker, right? Durability, basically, all those different things, right? Footwork, hand speed. Now, here's my deal. None of that matters. Here's why. Because what Jay said, IQ. That's what matters. Boxing is way more mental than it is physical, bro. It's a chess game. Doesn't matter if you're the biggest, doesn't matter if you're the strongest, doesn't matter if you're the fastest, doesn't matter if you have the most fleetest of feet. None of that matters, bro. It is a plus to what you have mentally. And when I look at the mental capacities of both of these fighters, Bud destroys Canelo mentally, bro. He is a much smarter fighter than Canelo Alvarez is. But you're right, it is an X factor because we don't know. It's an unknown. It's a gray area, right? We don't know what Bud is going to look like at 168. Bud could possibly have a mental breakdown. It's not a high probability for that happening, but he could definitely have a mental breakdown because we've seen it happen with fighters in the past. Hell, we've seen it happen with fighters that we thought were smart. Look at Robin Reed. We thought he was a smart fighter. Look at that mental breakdown against Felix Trinidad, right? So at the end of the day, there are several fighters in the past that we thought were smart, that had high level IQs, or at least moderately at level IQs, or at least the potential to be one of the smarter fighters in the sport, but they broke down. That could happen to Bud. The probability of that, in my opinion, is very low, because Bud has been in situations where he could have broken down and he didn't. He actually rose to the occasion higher than what was expected. Also, when you talk about probing, Canelo's not a prober, dog. Where does Canelo probe at with a jab?
I didn't say Canelo probe.
Oh! I thought you were talking about you said they had to. You didn't know who was going to win the probing battle.
Yeah,
Canelo
I said in the probing battle. Even though I know Canelo doesn't probe, I said in the probing battle, the mistakes. Canelo likes to counter when people probe, but at the same time he struggles against elite right hand. But I was just making the point that when Bud turns the probe, he does get countered. He does get countered over the right hand when he has that jab out there. We saw that in the Avedisian Brooks and Madrimon fight. That's why I was bringing up. I don't want, if he gets countered by Canelo and he gets into when he tries to probe and try and engage wrist, he might get hit with something big. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. I hear you. Okay, so I thought you were talking about those two probing and seeing who was going to win the probing battle between those.
I'm saying when Bud probes, that's a 50-50 situation, when usually it's an 80-20 situation for Bud. I'm saying that's a 50-50 position because of the power that comes with the counters.
Go ahead. I disagree on the aspect of, because you have to keep in account that number one, we're not talking about the same Canelo. Canelo's not quick with the counters like he used to be. And then on top of that, you're also talking about, like we said, we're talking about a Bud who, from a thinking aspect, can be able to outthink this dude, even if he's probing and probably waiting on the counter so he can counter. Because he is a better counterpuncher, in my opinion, than Canelo Alvarez, especially when he's using the angles. You can freeze. Dimitri Bivol showed us you can freeze Canelo Alvarez if you're throwing punches in volumes and giving him angles, which Bud is capable of doing. Canelo hasn't gotten better at that.
Canelo's got three good counters, in my opinion. One is the his favorite one, where he's basically coming up with the uppercut. He likes to fake like he's gonna throw a straight shot. He'll fake it and then come up with the uppercut. Then he's got the one where if you come with a straight shot, he turns with it, then comes back with the overhand right. And then he's got and then he's got a good counter to the body with a left hook. I mean, but that's pretty much the extent of Canelo's counters. He does not have a robust bag of counters at all. I've seen Terence Crawford counter niggas on his back foot, bro. I'm just saying, man. Like, let me get down to this, man. So, I think this fight is there's two elements to it. There's one where Turkey does not have his hand in it. Mm-hmm. We already know Turkey can fix fights. He just talked about how he was pissed off about certain fighters winning fights, how he wants certain fighters to win fights. He blatantly told us that. He admitted that, right? He said this. So, with that being said, I'm a little hesitant to believe that this fight could be 100% legit. Because Turkey already admitted that he wants certain fighters to win fights. Another thing is, Canelo apparently has a 4-fight deal, right?
Oh, damn. You hit one of the points I was planning on hitting.
Yeah. Canelo losing in the entryway of his 4-fight deal, not ideal, right? So that's one element. The second element, which is the one that I want to happen, because I want to believe that boxing is not a 100% WWE show at this point, is that none of that matters. Nobody's going to be involved in the fight, but the two fighters and the best man will win. If that's the case, this is Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez Part 2. I don't see Canelo being able to outsmart Bud Crawford in any way, shape, or form at all. Whether it's jabs, whether it's inside fighting, whether it's counter punching, whether it's judging distance, whether it's dictating the pace. The only X factor in this fight is what Zoe mentioned, is the weight. If we go out there and watch Bud within the first 4 rounds, and he's moving well, he doesn't look like he's getting tired. In between rounds, his mouth ain't open. It's a wrap, guys. It's fucking wrap. Canelo has to bank on Terence Crawford not being able to carry the weight. That is the only chance he has, in my opinion, bro. Because the fact that I watched Canelo look bad against a sequence of fighters that can't hold Terence Crawford's jockstrap in terms of talent. The only fight he looked good in was against Jermell Charlo, and that fight has a fucking asterisk next to it. Why? Because when Jermell Charlo picked up the pace and was actually whooping Canelo's ass in one of those rounds, he just stopped for no reason and backed away. It's like, oh, my bad, I went off script. That's what it looked like to me. Now, that's speculation. I'll recant that statement. Jury, recant that statement. You know what I'm saying? Recant that. But that's the only fight that Canelo looked good in like his last like 5 or 6 fucking fights, guys. So, and he's been fighting mid-level competition. So, Bud has all the tools in his fucking arsenal to make this guy look bad, bro. He could do it up close. He could do it at mid-range. He can do it from a distance. I think Bud, if he's smart, he fights Canelo like he fought Victor Postal. If he's got the gas tank and he can move the weight around, and somebody had mentioned, I think it was somebody on here mentioned that Bud may come in at 162. That's smart. Come in lower than 168. Let Canelo rehydrate to 199. Who fucking cares? You come in at like 160. Hell, I'd take a 159. He can come in as that. You come in as that, stay fleet-footed, box this nigga's socks off from a distance. Make Canelo learn how to cut the ring off. He couldn't do it against the Cuban. What makes you think he's gonna do it against Crawford? Now, here's the other element. There's a third element. I missed this one. Fight could 100% be a draw because Turkey is setting up a rematch and a possible trilogy. We already know he likes those, guys. He loves those. That is the other element here. Crawford could dominate this nigga, and then you got a judge come in 117, 111 Canelo like they did for fucking Erislandy Lara. Like they did in that fight. I had that Lara fight 117, 111 Lara. I heard a judge say 117, 111 Canelo. I was like, what the fuck is he looking at? Right? Or the Mayweather fight where Mayweather clearly won 11 rounds and you had a fucking judge, CJ Ross, I believe it was, scored at 114, 114.
Yep. One
that
judge scored for ZG 118, 110.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
And then all three judges had it 115, 113 bevel. That should have been wider.
Was it Stanley Christodoulou in the Canelo versus Trout fight? He had Canelo winning fucking 10 rounds. Like, that can 100% happen in this fight, bro. Especially with Turkey behind it.
So and Turkey does it for lesser fighters, though. He like, what's that boy? Nick Ball got like 4 straight dubious fights in a row where refs are helping him and everything.
Yep. Exactly. So again, I'm hoping for the sake of boxing, because we need a fight like this. And then shout out to my man Mike Wilson in the chat, 3KB affiliate. He mentioned the best fight of the weekend should be Noya Inoue and MJ Akhmadaliev. We need these kinds of fights to help save boxing. Boxing on life support, guys. They just announced Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson. This shit's on life support, guys. You got Jake Paul being ranked because he beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a nigga that hasn't been relevant in boxing for fucking years, probably almost a decade, more than a decade now.
Yeah, since he beat Andy Lee or some shit, I don't know.
Since he rematched Sergio Martinez, right? Or since he fought Sergio Martinez.
Martinez.
That was like what, 2016 or so? It's been a decade.
Was it 2016? I was in before that.
I'm thinking of I was living in.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, I was thinking I was living in a certain spot at the time. That's why I said 2016. But it's because I know he lost to Brian Vera in 2 fights, but they gave it to fucking him, right? Brian Vera beat that nigga twice, but they gave it to Chavez. Like he was done at that point. That was a decade ago. But anyway, they ranked Jake Paul for that. He is ranked in the WBC for that. He's talking about fighting Tank Davis and AJ. You see what I'm saying, guys? This shit is on life support.
Yeah.
They're literally bullshitting in front of your fucking face, bro. They're literally looking at you as boxing fans and saying, yeah, this is what we're going to do. You ain't going to do shit about it, nigga.
Yep. I told you, I just think motherfuckers waiting on somebody to come identify the body.
Okay. So we got everybody's breakdowns, I think, right?
I didn't go in on this.
No, we didn't.
Okay. So who? I drop mine. Who's up next here?
I'll go. So the only, if you're gonna talk about like points to be concerned about, Zoe touched on it. The weight. The only thing I kind of think they'll do what Bo said, which is come in light, maintain your stamina, and keep as much of your speed as possible. If he does come in heavy, that would kind of bother me. The other thing, and 2K took a lot of steam out of what I was thinking, because my official prediction, I just call it now, it was a draw. Reason being is Canelo's just in the 3rd fight of a 4-fight deal. Well, actually, no, he's in the 2nd fight of his 4-fight deal. The first fight paid him $75 million. The total due on the contract is $450 million. They sold this thing to Netflix so they wouldn't have to worry about pay-per-views covering the amount of what they have to pay Canelo. However, they want to continue. They want a continuing deal with Netflix so that they're not coming out of pocket for these purses, or that they're not threatened by that. So, with that being said, if I still owe Canelo after this the other half of his contract, which would be another 175 million after he gets this 150 million, I'm not too keen on him losing, because then who do I put him in with? So, and because then that leads to the only other fight you could put him in that would generate big money would be Benavidez. And you already kind of went on public and said you don't need Benavidez, on top of the fact Canelo don't want to fight him.
Nigga asked, he named his price. They said they had it and then said no. Literally.
So I'm trying to look at it like that the God hand ain't gonna mess with it, but I can't see a scenario where they don't. So the next question you have to ask is Terence Crawford able to win this fight 10 rounds to 2 convincingly, so that he can get, say, maybe a 115, 113 score? I think he's more like, when you consider the things he's going up against, I think he's more like 116, 112 better than Canelo, because I still think in that score you'd have some swing rounds. But if so that's the question you got to ask yourself. Or can he flat out stop Canelo? I really don't bet against Canelo's chin.
I agree.
No,
I agree.
So
I'm really struggling to figure out how Crawford don't get robbed. Like, I'm trying to picture how Crawford doesn't get robbed.
I mean, the way he doesn't get robbed is he fights the way Floyd Mayweather fought him. That's how he ensures that people watching the fight know he won. Canelo won't be able to do anything about it, bro. Just like he wasn't able to do anything about it against Mayweather. He won't be able to do anything about it. The only thing that can stop that from happening is because he's carrying too much weight. That's it. Nothing else. It's literally the only thing.
That's that. Like, I think we all can agree the weight is going to be a factor. I believe this dude is smart enough, and I believe he's looking to come in round 160, 162. That way he can maintain speed, stamina, and everything else that will give him an advantage, because a heavier Canelo is a slower Canelo. And we've seen that constantly, time and time again. That's why he couldn't. You talk about the Cuban moving, but that's why he couldn't. Hell, he was swinging that air because he couldn't get to that dude. He can't. He couldn't get his feet up to close the gap. So a heavier Canelo is a slower Canelo. If Crawford comes in heavy and that weight start getting to him, that's when some of the factors you talk about, Zoe, about the power and all that, can come into play. Because I don't think Crawford knocks Canelo out because he has that same mentality. Like, you ain't knocking me the fuck out. You're not doing that. You know, I may take a lot of punches, but you ain't knocking me out. So for me, it's going to be that weight. But if Crawford can overcome that weight by coming in small, I don't see a scenario where Canelo wins to the point where you can convince people it was a convincing win.
And then on top of that, right? Like, if Crawford decides he wants to fight from the outside, what pressure is Canelo going to be forcing upon him to even tire him out? What pressure? Like, Canelo, over the last we just used the last fight against the Cuban. He applied no pressure. That was the problem. This is an easy fight, Zoe. This is an easy fight, sir. This is an easy fight, sir.
It can be easy. Like I say, it can be easy. If Crawford came out and won 118, 110, I wouldn't be surprised. If Crawford found a way to stop this nigga in round 10, I wouldn't be surprised. Now,
whoa. You said Crawford stopping Canelo?
In rounds, yeah. I think if
Crawford,
listen. If Crawford isn't affected by the weight and Crawford can come in effective, I'm probably the only person in the panel, even though I'm not the person in the panel picking him. But I think if he comes in because of the X factor, I think the X factor is not a factor here, and the weight is not a factor. I think Crawford can absolutely stop him in round 10 because Canelo's gas tank. On top of that, it's going to be a fighter who's going to go to Canelo's body like nobody else do. Is going to also hinder the gas tank more. And then knockouts are not about who hits the hardest sometimes. It's about the punches you don't see coming, dog. You feel me? And that wouldn't surprise me that happened. That's more likely to happen when you gassed out. You feel me? And then when Canelo gassed out, Canelo doesn't go into the high guard. He starts to, gets lazy, put his hands down, and try to rely on head movement. Man, I don't think that's going to work against a high IQ person. I wouldn't be surprised if he fucking gets stopped.
I agree with your assessment and what you say about knockouts and how it's not always just about power. It's about the punches you don't see coming. Those are usually the worst ones. But you missed another factor there, another variable in that equation. Hard will and determination to not get knocked out. That's why you saw guys like Dominique Gwynn, right? I can never remember the brother from Australia. He's African. But he lives in Australia. He fought a who's who of guys, never been knocked out ever. He fought Canelo, didn't get knocked out. That's why you have those Iron Men in boxing. The Drunken Master, he never got knocked out. These guys have hard will and determination. They can have 500 losses, but never get knocked out. Hell, I think even Darnell Boone got like 300 losses, but only been stopped like once, and that was an stoppage. Or the stoppages that he had are questionable. So you got guys that just have hard will, determination not to get knocked out, on top of having a great chin. Canelo's one of those guys. You're just not knocking Canelo out, bro. You're not.
Where I differ from you in that assessment is I think that shit comes into play when somebody's punishing you. Do you have the will to endure? I think that's where will and toughness, all that shit. If a fuck nigga throw some shit, you don't see some shit and it hits your chin and your legs go noodle, nigga, your will has nothing to do with that fucking shit. Your legs just not
Bullshit.
working.
Bullshit.
That's not
Bullshit. Floyd Mayweather and Shane
It
and that
does.
Mosley.
right there. Hold on, that statement right there comes from a guy that's never boxed. No
Come
disrespect to
on,
you,
man.
Zoe, but no, that's real shit. I've been hit like that by a punch that hasn't come, and I didn't get knocked out. Matter of fact, I'll give you the story. I'm sparring this guy. This is in 2003. I'm sparring this fucking guy, bro, and I'm beating his ass. And he's actually from another gym. I'm beating his fucking ass, right? And if you know anything about, how when guys, they go from gym to gym, it's a competition thing. Bo knows what I'm talking about. If you fighting a guy and you're at this gym and you fight him at another gym, you're like, yeah, you got to represent your gym, bro. You got to whoop this nigga ass. Even though it's sparring, it's almost like a real fight. So I'm beating this nigga's ass, bro. They ring the bell or blow the whistle. I turn around, dude gets mad, charges up, punches me in the side, bro, hits me in the temple. Now, you're right. First instinct is your body reacts. Then your brain comes into play after that. The part I'm talking about is the brain, right? I'm not talking about the body reacting. I went down immediately, but my brain said, get the fuck up. Don't give this nigga that opportunity. I immediately got right back up. Most fighters are out when that happens, though. So you're 100% incorrect when you say if your legs go noodle, your will has no determination on whether or not you can recover. That's bullshit.
It's like
100%.
when I watched how Roberto Duran got KO'd by fucking Thomas Hearn. Will has nothing to do there.
Bullshit, Zoe. Larry Holmes and Ernie Schaefer. Holmes was fucking out. Got up, won the fight. Floyd Mayweather and Shane Mosley. Floyd's legs was wobbled. And he came back
Exactly.
and he was able to win that round.
Nigga, Duran was sleep for like what? After like 30 seconds later?
Duran also went up in weight like that. But you can find certain instances, dog, where you can tell me where it works. But when you got guys who have strong will like that, because Duran will was going with that no mas shit. He was no longer the same dude. His will was gone after that no mas.
Listen, I saw Daniel Jacobs live. I was at the fight, cracked the shit out of Canelo, and it was loud as so. It was like, bah! It was loud as fuck, and Canelo didn't budge. Same punch knocked out Peter Quillen, bro. I'm just saying, bro. Some guys got it, Joe. You just don't know what that is, and it's not a knock on you. But it goes to where some people just don't understand that part because they weren't ever fighting. They weren't competing in the sport. So I'm not knocking, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm knocking. I'm not knocking your knowledge base. I'm just saying you don't know what that means because you have not been in that situation and as a competitor in the sport. Because that shit is real, bro. If you have that mindset, and it doesn't just happen in the ring, it's you live life that way, bro. If you have that mindset in life that you will not be taken advantage of or knocked out, it happens, bro. It's kind of like bringing shit into the universe. Everybody's heard of that, right? When you say things and it becomes true because you spoke it into the universe. It's the same concept. Canelo Alvarez made a deal with himself long ago that he will not be one of those guys that gets knocked out. I guarantee you. If I could interview Canelo, well, Bo would because he speaks Spanish. If I could have Bo interview Canelo and ask him, do you have a contract with yourself to not allow somebody to take over you in a way to where you're knocked out and slumped out in the ring? He would agree. Yes, I do. Guaranteed. I'd put money on it.
Here's where I would agree with Zoe a little bit because not in the terms of of the will situation, but in the terms of if if Bud is able to get Canelo or hit him with some shit that he didn't see coming and he's wobbled, at what point? So we've seen what Bud does when he smells blood. So this becomes a test of Canelo's will versus Bud's determination to prove his point. And we've seen what happens when Bud has his mindset of I'm about to go in and kill this motherfucker, right? So in a sense, I could see it actually. Do I think it's gonna happen? No, but I could actually see a
Can I
version
give an example?
of that
Can I give
actually
it?
happening.
Can I give an example that involves Canelo?
Yeah. You talking about when he fought Miguel Cotto's little brother? You talking about that?
No, 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 no. I seen Canelo get hit with big punches when when the fight's competitive and he's willing to endure it. I'm gonna give you an example. He got hit with an uppercut with Floyd, retreated to the ropes. If Floyd had any type of killer instinct, the kid was ready to fucking quit. He got hit with that uppercut against Floyd.
All right, I know what you're talking about. I remember that.
I know what you're talking about, but I disagree that Canelo.
He went to the rope. That nigga was ready to get the fuck up out of there. Floyd.
No, I disagree with that.
I know what you're talking about, but I disagree. Canelo would have quit. I disagree 100%.
Well, let me.
I don't think Canelo will ever quit.
No, he won't.
Man, I saw how discouraged he was. But
fighters get hit and they retreat as a way of trying to regather themselves, not so much as surrender.
Right. Exactly.
The nigga was discouraged, man. The nigga lost 6-7 rounds and then was getting backed up. And when he got hit with a big fucking punch,
but that does not mean he's going to quit. You get hit with a big shot, even losing fights. Several fighters, even losing fight. Me, myself, it's happened to me. I got hit with a big shot and I had to back up to gather myself. It don't mean I'm ready to quit. It's just I'm ready to, I got to gather myself because getting hit with a big shot, you're right. Your mind is like, because understand something. You know what? The number one thing fighters train for is not to be knocked down. That's the number one thing you train. That's why you see them get hurt and their legs wobble, but they stay standing up. Because they train not to get knocked the fuck down. They train their body don't go down.
I also saw Canelo also get hit with a fucking big punch after losing 8 straight rounds and literally quit and did not fight the last 4 rounds against Bivol. And these are people with no killer instincts. I'm telling you, this nigga be ready to go. He literally. You're not gonna tell me he did not quit. He just completely stopped trying.
He did not quit.
He packed it in, but he didn't quit.
Your notion of quitting is way overblown. Like, I think Canelo couldn't figure out Bivol. It wasn't quitting. It was, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? That's what that was. I've seen Canelo get hit by Triple G, who was concussing motherfuckers his entire career, and he ate it. Not only did he eat it, he ate it multiple times in 3 different fucking fights.
I hear you, but he was competitive on those fights, so he had the need to keep going. On those fights I'm talking about, he disengaged and stopped trying. He stopped trying. He accepted what happened to him and stopped trying. This nigga was literally walking with his hands down against Bivol with a defeated look in his face.
But here's the other thing to think about. Letting Crawford jump up 3 weight classes and knock your ass out would look so crazy.
Exactly. He's not gonna. You're not knocking Canelo out, bro. I mean, at the one thing I can give. I mean, there's several things I give Canelo, but the one thing that I would never take away from Canelo Alvarez is that he doesn't have the will and determination to not get knocked out. I'll never take that away from that guy, man. Yeah. It's the same thing with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather's chin is one of the most underrated assets of his abilities. That nigga's chin was off the fucking chain. You were not knocking out Floyd Mayweather. Same thing.
Can we agree that the exact same thing was said for the Spence fight, going into the Spence fight?
No. One thing I will say is that I will say that I did not believe that Errol Spence would get dominated by Terence Crawford to that magnitude, but I never looked at Errol Spence as a guy that would never get knocked out. I never said that. I saw Kell Brook hurt this nigga. I saw Alejandro Garcia, I think his name is, the one that kept hitting him with uppercuts from a distance. I seen that shit.
That was like one of his first televised fights, and he looked.
Yeah, that was on PBC. It was on
Yeah.
PBC. Yeah, he was getting hit with uppercuts from a distance, bro. So I never looked at Errol Spence and said he would never get knocked out. Never. Nope. I can't agree with you on that.
Even Ugas rocked his ass.
Nope.
Yep.
Actually, the punch from Ugas gave me more faith in him, but I never would have said like kind of like you said, like he's like a dude that you can't stop. Pressure fighters kind of, because they open up a lot and they're stalking you, they tend to take more contact than other styles anyway. And then when you compound it with the fact that when they get in trouble, not very many pressure fighters historically are good survivors.
Exactly. And the big thing with Errol Spence, and you can go back in my channel and look for the videos. I was always worried about Errol Spence's defense from jump. I never went out there and said that Errol Spence, would get knocked out or anything, but I said this motherfucker might take heavy punishment once he steps up his competition. These are videos from like 2015, guys. So I never put Errol Spence in that category. The only ones I was putting in that category was Canelo, Floyd Mayweather, right? I did put Jamal Charlo in that category. I put Jamel in that category. I think no, I'm talking about current fighters at that time.
Okay.
I think I said Triple G. Those are guys that I put in that category. Andre Ward was another one. I put them in that category. They won't get knocked out. It's not gonna happen.
It's kind of funny, like you bring that up, because I always thought it was funny how in every mythical matchup, Floyd somehow gets knocked out.
Exactly. They wanted Floyd. They wanted Floyd to get knocked out so bad. It's not happening, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's just not gonna happen. These guys, it's the chin is one thing, obviously, right? I mean, they got the chin and they have the neck to be able to withstand the blow. I get that, but more so it's mental. If you believe you're going down, you're going down. That's how it works. This is a known thing in boxing. So Canelo, doesn't matter what the fuck he gets hit with. He's not. That's the one thing Tim Bradley was tripping on. Canelo's not getting knocked out by Terence Crawford. If he does, and I'm gonna say I could be wrong. We can all be wrong here. I could be 100% wrong in everything that I'm saying. I'm confident that I won't be, but I could be 100% wrong in everything that I'm saying. But if Canelo does get knocked out by Crawford, that's going to be a sad thing for him, man. Yeah, that's going to be a sad situation for Canelo, because you literally, and people are going to dislike this next statement, but he cherry-picked Terence Crawford because he thought he saw an advantage with a guy moving up 3 weight classes. That's what he saw. He cherry-picked Terence Crawford. It is a bag because people are now intrigued, right? It's a better opportunity. Well, let me say this. It's a bag because Turkey's willing to pay it. Let me say that. Then, secondly, people are now intrigued. Initially, people were not. They didn't think the fight could ever happen. When they did put it on the books, they got intrigued. And it's a safer fight than David Benavidez.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
Now there could be a scenario. There could be a scenario where he does catch him and finishes him, which Canelo can use the excuse of I got caught. Let's run it back.
Nah, man, I don't see it.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm just saying. If and there is clips of Turkey saying don't retire. Telling, I don't know if you've seen it, the clip where Turkey is telling Crawford not to retire after this.
Well, yeah, he's telling him that because let's say Crawford win, but it's a close fight, and then because understand a close victory for Crawford means a robbery for Canelo with Canelo fans, right? Crawford win by close victory, Canelo fans are going to scream robbery. Okay, let's run it back. More money. Let's run it back.
Amigo.
Right.
I'm just waiting on the excuse. I mean, I think
the excuse is gonna be like he's on PEDs or something. They already put that out there.
Yeah,
if Terence Crawford wins, there's going to be an excuse behind it, and I agree with what Bo is saying that he's probably Turkey's telling him not to retire because there's a future with Terence Crawford fighting other guys, and probably possibly he wants to match him up with other guys at 168. But I think Crawford's going to be out of there once after this fight. But anyway, I'm waiting on the excuse because, like I said, when he beat Victor Postal was never seen as a boogeyman and was always trash. When he fucking beat Errol Spence, oh, it was because of the car wreck. Well, look at the press conference. Errol Spence looked off. Doesn't he look high or something? Look at him when he's walking in the ring. It looks like he just smoked a bag of weed. Right? That was the Errol Spence excuse. Now when it's Canelo, now when it's Canelo, it's gonna be a similar situation as Jay just said. He's taking steroids, and I can see that because.
Of course.
Yeah. Started the steroid excuse. Like it's already in there.
Yeah, it is.
It's already baked. It's already baked in the pot.
Yep.
Oh,
So,
dog, that picture that Crawford posted of himself looked at ripped. You know, people, and I know, and it's stupid because people talking about, oh man, look at Crawford, he got the steroid fucking nipple, and I'm like, y'all get out of here with that stupid shit.
oh, they're talking about Errol Spence. Yeah, look at his nipples.
Steroid nipple.
What they call that shit? Gynecomastia.
Yeah. Like that really, who fucking cares, bro? All these niggas is taking shit. I always said that anyway. So, I mean, you're a high level athlete. You're sparring all the fucking time. Body's getting beaten up and broken on, nigga. I feel like all these athletes taking shit. Now that's just my speculation. Jury, you can recant that statement, whatever. But at the end of the day, there's gonna be a motherfucking excuse built in. As you guys said, it's already built in that he's taking steroids and all this other dumb shit. Doesn't really matter to me. Terence Crawford beats these guys who are high level, right? There's always a reason behind it. And then they go back to how his resume was trash. That's the end of the story. But I got this fight. Like I said, if Terence Crawford is as smart as I think he is, he's gonna fight him like Floyd Mayweather did, right? Even if he himself doesn't know how he can carry the weight, which I doubt that. He's too smart of a guy. He's gonna know exactly what he's capable of, from being able to dictate pace to being able to carry the weight. He's a very smart guy. He's not stupid. He's not gonna come in here overweight and not knowing that he can or cannot do that against a guy at Canelo's level of talent. So he knows what he's doing. And so if he is smart, he fights him like Floyd Mayweather, makes Canelo come to him, and as he gets in range, counter this motherfucker and fucking turn him every single time for 12 fucking rounds, bro, all day long. It's an easy fight, easy fucking game plan, right? That's all he has to do. He might even do what Floyd did, right? Hit him with something big and step in and make him and bring the pressure to him a little bit, kind of switch it up, make him move on his back foot so he's weary of the next shot that comes. That could even happen. A smaller Floyd Mayweather was doing that to Canelo. So, man, this, like I said, this should be a easy fucking fight, barring two things. Terence Crawford can't carry the weight, or he has a mental fucking breakdown. If those two things, if the mental breakdown doesn't happen and he can carry the weight, this is easy work. I got it like 118, 110 for Terence Crawford, bro.
Bet. I see Terence Crawford do what Manny Pacquiao did when he fought Antonio Margarito. Yeah, we'll fight at 154, but I'm gonna come in at 147. Thank you very much. so I can still keep my speed and beat up on you. It's too much adjustments that Canelo Alvarez has to make to beat Terence Crawford, and he hasn't shown the ability to be able to do that. I get the thing about the weight, but Terence Crawford IQ, high ring IQ, makes up for all of that. That's just my pure 100% belief. I got Terence Crawford winning, but I think they're gonna try to keep it close enough to justify a rematch. I can see Crawford win a split decision, 115, 113.
I see, man, because of the weight factor, man, because I don't know what happens in the weight factor, and I don't know how, because there's no such thing of a perfect fighter. Every fighter make mistakes, even Floyd Mayweather. Every move you make in boxing leaves you open for something. That's just the nature of the fucking sport. You feel me? And then I don't know if Bud at that weight would have the chance to make an adjustment. I know he can make an adjustment, but will he get the chance to make an adjustment? Because of that, I think I might have to go with Canelo by mid-round stoppage.
Yeah, Canelo. What round?
I want to say round 7.
Okay, Canelo stoppage round 7. All right, what you got, Corey and Jeff?
All right.
I
Go ahead, Corey.
I already teased my pick and said a draw. I think the judge is gonna do it. I agree with everything y'all are
Man,
saying.
hold on, man. Hold on. Sorry, I don't mean to interject. You and Bo are picking shit based on the judges. Fuck that shit, bro. Because I could have said the same thing.
I could have
Because
said that.
yeah. Because I think it's gonna be a draw too. I'm not predicting based off of what these
But we talking
stupid
about
ass fucking judges.
What's
I'm just giving you my
going to happen
scorecard.
in
I
the
think
ring?
116, 112 Crawford.
Yeah, what's happening? Same with you, Bo. What's gonna happen in the ring, man? Because you did the same thing. You did that
Who?
judge thing. Fuck
No, I
that
didn't.
shit.
I just said I got Crawford with a split decision.
I thought you said the judges were gonna play a part, and you got Crawford winning 115, 113 or something like that by split decision. That's what I thought I heard you say.
Oh yeah, no, I did say that, but I still picked Crawford to win because I think
Nigga,
I
what
think
do you
they're gonna
think?
I think they're
Take
gonna
the
push
judge
him
out of
hard,
it.
huh?
Take the judges out of it.
I
Take them out
did
of it.
that. I did take him out. That's why I still think he wins by split decision.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So Canelo by stoppage, 7th round. We got 116, 112, 118, 110. And then what was your scorecard, Bill?
150. I got Crawford 115, 113.
So you think Canelo's gonna win 5 legitimate rounds?
I think the early part of the fight, I could see Crawford taking 3 rounds to adjust, and then maybe taking 1 or 2 rounds off toward the end, and then picking it up, closing out the show.
That's crazy. All right, bet.
There's no way in hell Bud could win a fight 115, 113. That's impossible. You know
For
that's
real.
impossible.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, wait a minute, where does Canelo win 5 rounds at? If Bud does what he's supposed to do, how does Canelo win 5 rounds? Is what I'm asking. But whatever.
If
We're
Canelo win 5 rounds, they're gonna say he won 118, 110. If he wins 5
not right.
rounds.
But we're taking that out of the equation now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm trying to figure out stylistically where Canelo wins 5 rounds. That means Bud is, again, there's that mental breakdown. So basically, you're predicting Bud by mental breakdown.
I'm thinking
wins.
I'm thinking Bud is gonna take the first 2 rounds to figure it out. Then he's gonna build a lead and think, okay, I'm good, and then take maybe a round or 2 off.
But he
The
could
end,
win the
and then pick it
fight.
up.
He could win trying to figure it out because Canelo's low volume.
Yeah, I see that too. I just think he wins split decision 115, 113. I can see that happening.
I don't know, man. We're gonna have to talk offline. I think you're doing your whole. I just feel it. Like you do that Amanda Serrano. I think it was that Amanda Serrano Katie Taylor fight. This thing. I just feel.
But I was right about that one. I was almost right about that one.
You weren't right about it, nigga. You were wrong about it.
I said almost.
All right, go ahead, Jay.
I got Crawford 8 rounds before. I just think that his IQ is just gonna be is too much. I think even with the weight, if the weight even isn't a factor, I think that Bud is strong enough, even if he needs to tie up Canelo and go that route. But yeah, I see 8 rounds before.
All right, man. There it is, man. Go ahead and close it out, Bo. We gotta get up out of here.
All right, man. Y'all know what it is. Hey, regardless of what's gonna happen of the fight, we gonna go live. So if we wrong, y'all gonna have a chance to come at us. But if we right, I still want y'all to join in so we can go at all you motherfuckers who was up in this chat telling us how wrong we were. All right, man.
Remember, the internet is forever.
That's right, exactly. We not gonna hide, we not gonna run, but we will be there. We will be around. But as always, man, hey, y'all know what to do, man. Go to 3 Kings. Hey, like I said, after the fight, hit us up. We'll holler at you guys later, man. Appreciate everybody joining. Appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys taking time to be with us. Holler at you guys, man. Peace.
Great.